M3GAN is the latest horror movie from Blumhouse Studios playing in theaters. When young Katie is placed in the guardianship of her aunt after the death of her parents, her aunt creates an AI companion named M3GAN to keep her company. What could go wrong?
What are you?
I'm Megan.
Baby,
Oh yeah, she goes on a rampage and becomes a psycho killer. The thing that works the best in this movie is definitely M3GAN herself. While you can definitely compare her to Chucky, the film does enough with M3GAN to make her own thing. For example, I love the way that this movie played with the fact that M3GAN is hooked into the Bluetooth, is hooked into the Wi-Fi, she can mess around with other pieces of technology. It makes for some really creepy sequences and really does add suspense to a lot of scenes. And when M3GAN is on screen, it's actually kind of hypnotizing. The way that they seamlessly switch out the actor, the puppeteering, the CGI, it all works so well together that creates this experience on screen that I had to snap myself out of it to remember that this is not an actual AI doll that is on screen. They didn't actually build this thing the way it is presented, but it just feels so real. It feels so tangible and it feels so authentic. And the way that Gerald Johnstone goes about with the direction, the way that he sets up the shots, the way that he blocks, the way that he frames M3GAN, she really does come across super creepy. And there's some scenes with M3GAN in this movie that had my skin crawling and was just so unsettling. And with this movie having a PG-13 rating, a lot of the kills, they are done a little bit off screen. You don't fully see what M3GAN does to these people. However, for me, that kind of did add a little bit more to the terrifying aspect because your imagination fills in the blanks. And that's almost scarier as to what M3GAN is doing to some of these people. Although not all of the kills are left that ambiguous. You do see aftermath. You do see how exactly something could have gone down with M3GAN. I feel like the PG-13 works really well for what they were going for with this movie because this is more than just a robot killing people kind of movie. They try to add more heart and they try to add more themes and messages into the movie. And that is where the movie kind of did have a little bit of a disconnect for me. Everything with M3GAN, and when M3GAN's on screen, I was very entertained by this movie. It's just everything else surrounded M3GAN within the script that I did find some issues with. When it comes to the relationships in this movie, especially by the aunt played by Allison Williams and Katie played by Violet McGraw, they both do a very good job, but throughout the movie, you never really get any attachment with these characters. There's never really is a bond that grows between them. While the film kind of wants to present that a little bit, the aunt in this movie, Aunt Gemma as she's called, she's not a very likable character in my opinion. When we're introduced to her character in the movie and she has to take guardianship over Katie, you can tell she's not equipped for this. This isn't something that she really wanted in life. She's very workaholic. She works at this toy company. She's very inventive. She's smart. So when she gets this idea to create the IA robot in M3GAN to help her niece get over her trauma, it becomes way more about selling the product than it is about really getting to know her niece. She kind of uses her niece a lot in this movie to sell M3GAN, and I just never felt like by the end of the movie that changed. I never really felt like the aunt and the niece grew a connection, grew a bond in this movie. I just kind of felt like the whole time the aunt kind of used her. Also, this movie's pretty illogical. This movie goes through leaps and bounds to get to its point. I mean, the fact that this M3GAN doll is created for this toy company. The minute that M3GAN is introduced to this toy company with the intention of making these dolls for other households and for children's toys, when they go about and start saying what M3GAN is capable of and what she's able to do, there is no toy company in the world that would approve of this doll. I just don't buy it. And I felt like there was something missing between the relationship between Katie and M3GAN herself. Because throughout the movie, Katie is getting more and more attached to M3GAN to the point that she almost doesn't want to associate with anyone else but M3GAN. And in that way, the film does have this commentary on how kids are growing up with technology. Giving a kid an iPad or a phone to entertain them and therefore almost parent them itself. There is some interesting themes and messages with that idea. And while I liked that they had the messaging of that in M3GAN, what the film was really missing for me was heart, because I never really felt like M3GAN and Katie, I never really felt the connectional bond between them. Throughout the movie, I'm told about Katie's connection to M3GAN. I'm told about how much she loves her and how it's helping her get through her traumatic experience, but I never really feel it and I never really see it grow between Katie and M3GAN. It just felt a little bit too surface level for me, and with that being said, also with the aunt and the niece, not really feeling the connectional bond between them either. And because there really wasn't a relationship that I was getting attached to, that I could connect to, that I could relate to, it just kind of felt like this movie lacked heart that it really needed for me to feel less generic than this movie felt to me. I'm sorry, this movie did feel a little bit generic to me. I didn't think it was great. I've seen a lot of people online saying that this is not really a horror film. It's actually a comedy film. It's actually really funny. I didn't find the film all that funny. I had some chuckle-worthy moments for sure. There's some characters that yell and scream funny things. And M3GAN herself, she's not very witty. She's not very quippy. But, I mean, she does have lines that she'll say to some characters, especially near the end of the film, that did get a little laugh from me. But for the most part, the movie, I wouldn't call it a comedy. In the end, guys, when M3GAN is on screen, when you are watching this AI robot going and killing some people and just turning into this psycho AI killing machine, I was having a good time. I was entertained. Everything else surrounding M3GAN, I just felt could have been enhanced and just done a little bit better to get me more invested in the story itself and in the characters themselves. But this was by no means a bad movie. I had an enjoyable time watching it. I just didn't love it. I wasn't as hyped up on it as it seems the majority is. I mean, it's got like a 98% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm definitely in the minority with some of my thoughts. But in the end, I could give M3GAN a weak recommend. You're going to get exactly, I think, what you're looking to get. Even with that said, though, I do think with the character of M3GAN that they've established in this movie, there is something there to continue on in a franchise, and I would be up for a sequel. Anyway, guys, those are just my thoughts on M3GAN. I'm sure you guys have a lot of thoughts too. So what did you think about M3GAN? Comment down below. Let me know. I want to hear all your thoughts and opinions about this movie. Guys, thank you for watching the first movie review of 2023. I look forward to another year about talking about movies with you guys. Guys, our subscriber goal for this year is 2,500. I believe in us. We can reach it. And if you haven't already, please help us out. Please subscribe if you liked this video. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. It helps the algorithm out a lot. In case you didn't know, we do live streams on this channel every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Zach Millen Talks Live. You can also get the podcast forms now available on all podcast platforms, Spotify and Apple Podcasts being the main ones. Definitely check that out. The link is in the description below. Thank you once again, and I hope to talk to you guys again real soon.